On today's IRS tax update, with the IRS preparing to release its new free direct e-file platform, we'll take a look at why not everyone will be able to use it, but also how it could make things worse, even for those of you who do not use it. We'll also recap where things currently stand with those ongoing tax issues, including several key reasons for the delays you may be experiencing. And then we'll answer some of the questions you've been asking us recently about your tax issues. Briefly recapping the latest for those viewers still waiting on their tax refunds, the total amount of unprocessed returns is at 1.5 million, consisting both of e-file and paper returns, and that number is actually down. Amended returns holding at 1.1 million with no recent progress. For those of you waiting on wage verification and a number of you who've received those 60-day notices, the backlog of employer tax returns has grown to 1.3 million remaining, with another 521,000 amended employer returns. For those of you who filed ITIN applications, the IRS is currently processing applications submitted in the month of June at this time. One of the consistent reasons behind those delays is the tax return is under audit. If you filed and claimed one of several tax credits, such as the Earned Income Tax Credit, Child Tax Credit, or Premium Credit, there's a strong possibility this is a cause of your delay. Even now, there are taxpayers who are still not aware this is a cause of their issues, whether it's they never received the proper notice from the IRS in the mail, they do not have access to their tax transcripts, or called the IRS for further assistance. Many taxpayers decide just to wait it out, and oftentimes that is not recommended because a number of issues require action on your part. You will want to access your tax transcripts and review those codes appearing. If you see a 971 code with a recent date, that represents an IRS notice sent potentially requiring more information. If you do not receive that notice within 2 weeks of the date posted, please contact the IRS for a replacement notice or to identify any possible issue and resolve even over the phone, which can be done in some circumstances. Now, if you do not respond to the IRS with the requested documents and you did claim one of those credits, eventually those refund amounts relating to those credits will be removed and you will see codes such as 767 and 765 depending on the credit appear on your tax transcripts. Also keep in mind 42% of those taxpayers claiming EITC in 2021 were asked for documents and they never submitted them to the IRS and lost out on those credits in the end. The impact of ID verification is still being felt among other taxpayers, also a number of whom, like last year, have no idea that this is the cause of their delay, as they have not received the letter from the IRS requesting verification. Now, the IRS is supposed to send a notice to those impacted by this, but as we saw last year, thousands of taxpayers never received the proper notice, even though the IRS claimed they sent it out, which led to months of delays. Now, in most cases, ID verification is a very simple process that can be completed online. And even if you maybe are not impacted by this, you can still verify your identity through the IRS website. So at the very least, it is taken care of before you go into next tax season and potentially avoid a delay with next year's tax refund as a result. However, if you're specifically requested to complete ID verification, then it's not only having to verify your identity, but also verify your submitted tax return. Both steps have to be completed, and that is often overlooked by some. For our paper tax return filers, including amended return filers, the ongoing delays continue for you as well, and you'll experience some of the longest delays as a result. As a reminder, the IRS will never notify you they received that paper or amended return in the mail, so it is advised you send those by certified mail to at least have your own confirmation that it was in fact received. You will see no updates checking your refund status results or even tax transcripts until processing of the return begins. For you paper filers, keep in mind the IRS has an error rate of 22%, as an IRS employee must manually enter each entry of your tax return into the IRS computer system. As a result, this potentially could lead to further delays, including incorrect refund amounts being sent out. With paper returns decreasing by the year, it seems the IRS is turning their attention to e-file options. IRS has announced it will release a test tax filing program for taxpayers to e-file for free starting with the 2024 tax season beginning in late January. The new system being considered for next year's pilot program is very likely not going to support taxpayers seeking the Earned Income Tax Credit, nor will it assist the filing of state income tax returns. Also, if it doesn't allow for people to claim EITC, the question is, would that also apply to the Child Tax Credit, which millions are eligible for? Taxpayers who use it will have to complete the same type of tax return, and it will have no impact on their tax refund. Currently, 70% of taxpayers are eligible to use existing free filing services, which is done through third parties found on the IRS website, yet only 3% of them actually do. However, one argument among many is the current issues at the IRS. They should not be spending billions of dollars to replace something that already exists, which is a free e-filing option. Now, they currently don't run free filing programs themselves, but use third-party affiliates, but there's really no need for them to get into this new line of business. They're currently running computer systems still using 1960s programming that were out of date even back in the 1990s. Also, they're not using scanning technology for paper documents and still do not have the staffing levels they need for the number of taxpayers there currently are. Now, how this proposal could make things worse, and it comes down to several things. As we said previously, the IRS currently does not have enough staff to do its current job, so now you're adding hundreds, if not thousands, of new positions. So those are basically jobs many current IRS employees will get stuck with doing if there are not enough new hires. We have seen the IRS take employees off the phone line so that they could help process tax returns and go through mail. And if we have employees who are supposed to process and examine tax returns helping with this new IRS department, fully expect to see long delays with the processing of your tax returns and tax refunds in the future. Now, there are also significant privacy concerns with the proposed system, and the risk of identity theft and fraud would greatly increase if the IRS sends sensitive information to old or incorrect street or email addresses of taxpayers. But really, all this dedication to a program only a small percentage of taxpayers will end up using begs the question, is it worth it? Now, there should be free filing options available. However, the major tax processing companies out there do have a hold on most of the market, and it makes it very hard to push a free filing option. These big companies have spent millions of dollars over the year to push back on the free filing option. Now, given the current circumstances, I would be very cautious to use this new proposed free filing option through the IRS. Now, the IRS, especially in the last 3 years, has struggled to do their existing job, and giving them a new one is not looking to be the right call at this time. Now, taking a look at some of the viewer questions they have been leaving, starting off with this question: if I see a 570 code on my tax transcript, does that mean my refund will be delayed? And the answer is yes. There's a hold on your account that's preventing the IRS from finalizing your refund. The IRS will attempt to correct the issue themselves so that the hold can be lifted. If they can't resolve it themselves, they may request additional documentation from you to resolve any outstanding issues. Another question we received is, how long will it take for my amended return to be processed and refund issued? Currently, the IRS is averaging 5 months for it to be processed after it's received, averaging 3 weeks after that for it to be adjusted, and a refund sent on average 4 weeks after it is marked as completed, as seen here. The question that came through is, if the IRS issued my direct deposit refund, but my bank or tax processor TPG returned it back to the IRS, what happens next? Now, if there are no problems, the IRS will issue out a paper check to your address on file within 4 weeks of receiving it back. But if your bank or tax processor returned your refund as flagged back to the IRS, it could take longer than 4 months to resolve. And there's a lot of different reasons behind that. One includes improper credits being claimed. For those with the fuel tax credit in particular, expect long waits and documentation requests as a result. In the meantime, let us know your current tax issue, if any, in the comments section below. Also, a very special thanks to the viewers who contribute to this channel, clicking on the special thanks button below. We really do appreciate it. In the meantime, we'll keep monitoring the situation for further developments, so make sure to click on the thumbs up and subscribe button below for future updates on this channel, and thanks for watching.